You guys review books, right? And as book reviewers, can you separate the author from their work? Because I personally cannot.
So, I think we've never actually had to think about this in depth until we really started working on the podcast. And that's when it became a practical issue, like not an issue, but a practical point of thinking. Because we have a series known as the Author's Own series, where we call authors onto the show and we ask them their process of writing the book. And sometimes, as we've seen, their answers get very deeply personal. Like, or maybe they were in a bad mental space when they were writing the book, or maybe something happened that made them write the book. And when we hear what they're telling us, and then we sort of think back to the book, we realize that a part of what they were saying is reflected in the way their writing is coming out, which also made us realize that it's very difficult to detach something so personal, like a person's work of art, from the person themselves, because you are writing it because you're in a particular mental state, and that will reflect in your writing.
I agree with that when it comes to non-fiction. But when it comes to fiction, I think it may be possible to separate the art from the artist, because that's a whole new world they're creating, right? When it comes to, I've read a lot of fantasy, mostly because I loved vampires as a teenager and really wanted to be one. But I don't think it would have sort of combined for me, any wrongdoing by an artist or the art. So for fantasy or other fiction works, I think I would be able to separate it. But when it comes to non-fiction, because of the podcast and because of all the interviews, it sort of combines. So for me, it heavily depends on the genre.
But do you not think, okay, let's take the example of J.K. Rowling. Have you guys been following what's been up with her? I mean, I think because of the internet, the text isn't just the text itself, right? J.K. Rowling will, out of the blues, she'll say that Dumbledore's gay.
Right.
So that really messes with...
And Hermione's black.
And Hermione's black.
Yeah.
So that really messes with the reader's imagination. So don't you think that's like a sacred space that the author should not interfere into?
I agree. An author should not, but then again, at the end of the day, it's their own work. So they have the complete liberty to. It's all about how they choose to interact with the community.
They do have the liberty to, but do you not think that it kind of takes away from the kind of work that they've done if they keep adding on to it? It's like with any creative project, there has to be a deadline, right?
I'm with you on that. I definitely feel, especially with the Harry Potter universe, or things that, all of these new movies that are coming out and all of these really elaborate, crazy backstories that are just being built like castles in the air, really elaborate ones. I personally have been a very ardent Harry Potter fan since I was very young. And then, of course, all of this came to light. And now it's just, I'm so disconnected. I don't follow it anymore. It's just become it's taken it away from me. And also, to what you said about the whole fiction world thing, I think, yes, authors do create fiction worlds that people can escape into. But I think there's definitely a link between the kind of desires that they have that they might not be very open about. It comes out in their fictional worlds. For example, if you guys have watched Black Mirror or the episode of USS Callister, when he builds that entire fictional world, the game, and he has his own little personal game where he's just a complete asshat and, he just treats people so poorly. And he takes out everything that he's going on with his real life into the universe. So I think there's always a reflection in the kind of work you create.
Would you still read J.K. Rowling after everything that she's said and done?
I'm very conflicted about it. Honestly, I'm not sure if I would.
It's very hard for me to let go of, because not of her content aspect, but more of the memories I have associated with reading her books as a child. Like, it's a very familiar feeling, but I'm not following anything recent that she released after these books. It's just a fond memory that I cling on to of the story she spun. But of course, it's so conflicting now. So
yeah,
it's tainted.
I think our brains selectively ignore all these new comments and all this other new information that's come in, because I think we want to protect that fantasy space that we've made in our head with the original text.
But it's ruined for me. Like, I can't...
Really?
Yeah, like, it doesn't give the same feeling of that warm, happy feeling. Is it's accompanied with guilt and confusion and just not good feelings. So it's tainted now.
Yeah.